Welcome into the DNVR Rockies Podcast. I'm your host, Patrick Lyons, and on today's show, we'll talk about Memorial Day's loss to the Arizona Diamondbacks, 7-5, unfortunately. But the starting rotation is getting a little bit of a boost. We'll preview the rest of the series, as well as today's big matchup, Kyle Freeland against Zac Gallen, two aces going toe-to-toe in the skirmish in the Southwest, as we must bill it that. That's only fair. We'll talk about some recent roster transactions for the Rockies, and of course, we will welcome in Derek Montilla of PHNX Diamondbacks, who's got the skinny on how the Diamondbacks are doing what they've been doing. We've said that they've got the potential. It's actually coming to fruition, and they're playing really well right now. We'll learn exactly why that is. Again, Monday's Memorial Day loss to the Diamondbacks, 7-5. A lot of good news still in this game. Number one being Ryan McMahon, 4 for 4. He gets the triple that he needed Sunday for the cycle, but he misses the double that he had on Sunday. He missed that on Monday, so a double short of the cycle. 4 for 4. He's 12 for 20 with 4 home runs, 12 RBIs in the last 5 days. Bud Black has said it the last couple days that Ryan McMahon is capable of carrying a team. He doesn't like really putting that on a player, and no one player should really have to carry a team. But there are moments in which a player like Ryan McMahon can carry the team. And for a guy who was really struggling going into this most recent homestand, this is really positive for him to be doing it at the plate. He's been doing it defensively all season long, made 2 really good plays at home plate. A nice 5-2 putout, twice gunning down Mets runners, trying to score a run over the weekend. So his defense, and he did it again early on in that game on Memorial Day. So it's great to see him really locked in and being in that Mac zone. Ezequiel Tovar's trying to get himself there. He had 2 hits on Monday against the Diamondbacks. 2 RBI game there. 4 of his 5 2 RBI games this season have come on the road. Interesting little note about a guy who, when we talk about Rookie of the Year award candidates, and we'll talk about that with Derek and Corbin Carroll's case, a lot of people are going to look at numbers. They're going to see the COL as the 3 letters next to Ezequiel Tovar's name and say, well, his offense has really been purely beneficial because of the home ballpark. Well, again, 4 of his 5 2 RBI games this season have come on the road. Ryan Nelson did a nice job for Arizona. 5 runs on 5 innings pitched. Carl Kaufman, not as good. 4 innings pitched, 7 earned runs. He ends up giving up. Matt Caracetti doing a really nice job. 3 innings pitched, scoreless, gave up 1 hit in his 3rd inning of work. That was super important for him to get a little bit of length and really save that bullpen. Because as we've been saying here on the DNVR Rockies podcast, the bullpen has been really taxed, and they've been coming through. But we started to see them break down just a little bit over the weekend against the Marlins in that final game on Thursday, against the Mets all weekend long. And so they're going to need some rest, especially as they finish up here. 17 games in 17 days. They do not get a day off until Monday. Then they come back home. That will be huge for them to make it through, survive this week with some really strong starting pitching, at least lengthwise. Earned runs against, all that, beside the point. They just need to get some length. And they could get some help here in just a moment because Kaufman now has an 11.37 ERA over his 3 starts. He was doing really well the first 2 times in the lineup in his first 2 starts. This start, not as much. So the 3rd time through the lineup has been an issue for him. Still a young guy, still a player you're going to need to provide innings maybe later on in the season after the trade deadline. You hope nobody else gets hurt, but if you are making any trades, you're still going to need a guy like Carl Kaufman around. But the Rockies are getting a bit of a bump. We alluded to it on Sunday's show, but Dinelson Lamet has been getting stretched out just a little bit and will actually be coming off the IL on Wednesday and starting for the first time since 2021. Remember, he did finish 4th in the Cy Young Award voting in San Diego in 2020. So this is a guy that has been able to do it as a starting pitcher. Eventually was taken out of the rotation with San Diego, became more of a reliever type, was very good last year for the Rockies. Beginning of this year, not so good. Did have some lower back issues. That's why he went on the IL. But in 3 rehab starts, he's got 10 2/3 innings pitched, only gave up 1 earned run. He's been really good. So Kaufman more than likely will go back down to AAA, make a couple starts down there, work on a few things that Buddy and the entire coaching staff will have him work on, and we may see him again later on in the season. I suspect that we will. Ryan Feltner, one of the transactions from Monday, he goes on the 60-day IL, and Ryan Rollison comes off the 60-day IL. Now, Rollison is a name you've been hearing about for years because he was the Rockies' first pick in the 2019 MLB draft, and 2018 MLB draft, and he's been a guy tabbed to make his debut as early as 2019. I thought we would see him at the end of 2019 if the Rockies stayed in contention. He's a starting pitcher. I thought maybe he would be in the bullpen late in the year if they needed some lefty innings. That never happened as the Rockies were out of the hunt. 2020 came, no minor league season. He was at the alternative site. 21, a lot of freak injuries, didn't get a chance to debut, and he missed all of last year with shoulder surgery, but he's now back on the Isotopes active roster for the first time since September of 2021. So we'll keep an eye on him. He could be a candidate as a long reliever, maybe even make some starts as the Rockies slowly but surely start to stretch him out as a starter. Another transaction we had on Monday, Elehuris Montero, back up after absolutely raking, right? We got a chance to see Michael Toglia for a little bit. Did a nice job defensively at first base. Still has some holes in his swing. Needs to cut down on those strikeouts. But it was nice seeing him after mashing down in AAA. Nolan Jones, he's now up, starting regularly. Started the last 3 days over at first base for the Rockies with C.J. Cron on the IL, and now we see Elehuris Montero. His numbers in AAA are video game numbers, 383, batting average with the Isotopes down in the Pacific Coast League, 13 home runs, 38 RBI. He's cut down on his strikeouts a lot since going back down to AAA. He's playing first base again, so if we see him there, hopefully Nolan Jones will be able to stay in that lineup, and they'll be able to give playing time to both of those guys. We did see Montero come to pinch hit, made the final out of the game yesterday. The reason he's able to come up is because Charlie Blackmon, unfortunately, does go on the bereavement list after the passing of his grandfather, Edward Lee Mitchell, age 96. Everyone called him Pa in the Blackmon family, and Bud Black told Thomas Harding about the passing of his grandfather that Bud Black said to Thomas Harding about Charlie's grandfather that Charlie broke the news to me actually coming back from Texas. They didn't know when the services were going to be, but Charlie's grandfather was a huge Rockies fan. He listened to every game on the radio. His eyesight was failing him, but he was able to listen. He was 96 years young, and Charlie said he lived a great life. So we hope while Charlie Blackmon is away for the minimum 3 days of bereavement time, that he's able to enjoy that time with his family, lay his grandfather to rest, and the Rockies will hold on tight, without their leader, and that'll be interesting to see who gets that extra playing time, especially at DH spot where Charlie has typically been playing. You can get Chris Bryant off his feet. Maybe Nolan Jones is playing a little bit more time out in right field, whatever it may be. But Charlie will not be back for a little while. Might not even see him until the Rockies come back home next week. But if you come back home and if you're getting your butt down to Denver and you're trying to watch games over at Ball Arena, it's incredibly expensive. But fear not, because you can actually watch games down here at what we're calling Baby Ball. It's got that vibe. It's the DNVR bar on the corner of Colfax and York. Diehards, you know that you get 15% off your food and drink when you're here at the bar, 20% off all the gear and merchandise at dnvrlocker.com, 20% off all the takeovers and tailgates that we've got. June 10th, we've got another one coming up. It's going to be absolutely fantastic. So, if you want to watch Game 1 on Thursday, this is the spot to be at. You hear, I don't know if you're mic'd up, but do you have some more of the details about everything that's going on Thursday? Because I know we're charging a coverage for most people.
It is diehards. There's no cover charge for diehards, and if you do have to pay the cover charge, you get a Breck brew also. So it kind of pays for itself in some way. Also, we have a bunch of specials on drinks. We're going to be doing a bunch of fun stuff. There's always going to be giveaways. It's going to be a great time. There's also there was also some interaction on Twitter where Broncos wide receiver Tim Patrick was asking where's the best place to see the game. Everybody said DNVR.
Yep.
He tagged us and said it might be coming down, so you don't know. You might even see Tim Patrick down here at the bar.
We're actually working on getting some of the Rockies players down for Game 2 because that's the only time they're going to be in town. They'll be flying back from Kansas City, so I don't know if they're going to be here. But again, diehards, you get in for free, so that's really nice. If you're not a diehard, become one. Get yourself signed up to the DNVR.com. It's really simple. So many really great benefits. $10 if you're not a diehard. If you're diehard, you got nothing to worry about. Just come down early, show up. You can see some of here in the bar the Saturday neons that we've got coming up. Man, it's a company started by two friends and former college roommates at CU that makes officially licensed collegiate logo LED neon signs. These things are gorgeous, whether they're really small or they're gigantic. They've got one for CSU that's like 3 feet by 3 feet. It's fantastic. We're talking high-quality materials that are backed by a 2-year warranty, so you don't have to worry about that. And they'll ship everything to you, everything that you need to mount it, to power it, to dim it. Every sign is easy to install and operate. They make officially licensed signs for over 19 different select schools: Colorado, Arizona, Alabama, Wisconsin, Auburn, and more. Check them out over at SaturdayNeon.com and use code DNVR. You get 10% off your order today and free shipping over $200 on those $200 orders. You get them for free. It's pretty great. Breck Brew Avalanche Ale, man, that's the time. Stay cool. I know you want to go with the Mile High City right now and support the Nuggets, but give the Avalanche Ale, give the Avs a little bit of love with your Breck Brew. And if you're not sure where to find it, go to breckbrew.com, and you got the Breck Brew locator right there, and you could find out where you can get a fantastic beer. I was at my barbecue yesterday on Memorial Day. Boom, Breckenridge Brewery. And they were not aware that Breck was a sponsor, too, keep in mind. They just happened to have it, and I said, oh, by the way, thanks for supporting them because they support us and they support all of our listeners. So it's fantastic. It's a Colorado company, 100% Colorado ingredients and 100% renewable energy. BreckBrew.com to find a Breck Brew near you. Brenton Doyle back in the starting lineup on Monday. That was really great to see. A lot of guys that have been banged up, they're on the comeback trail, which is going to create a really good problem, right? Too many guys, not enough spots, but that's going to allow Bud Black to mix and match really, really well. Nick Mears, who is pretty impressive in several outings coming out of the bullpen. Extended spring training today. He's going to make an outing before going on a rehab start for a little bit of an oblique issue. I talked to him over the weekend. He said he's feeling great, chomping at the bit, ready to get back. CJ Cron is back hitting in the cage now. He's even taking ground balls. Noah Davis, he threw 50 pitches on Friday in an extended spring training outing, and he will be making a start this week for the Isotopes in Salt Lake City. As we mentioned, Ryan Rollison with the shoulder surgery that he had last year, he's back in action, and Dinelson Lamet, it's wonderful to see him. It was also really wonderful to see some of the legends. You hear, I don't know if you got a chance to see any of that, but the first pitch on Sunday thrown out by Ubaldo Jimenez, Brad Hawpe, and Jason Jennings. It was really cool that the Rockies are finally, and rightfully so, it is their 30th anniversary, but they're embracing the history, and the payoff was immediate. It was a sellout crowd, 47,000 plus, to see these three legends. How cool is that to see those guys come back?
Ubaldo and Hawpe were actually in my childhood for a lot of time.
Yes.
They were part of the 07 run. Well, was Ubaldo part of the 07 run? He was afterwards, right?
He was right after, yes.
Yeah,
but he was with all those guys right after.
Yeah, he was part of the 09 run. I remember that, right? But the 07 run, Hawpe is one of my favorite players because of that. Still remember out there in the outfield, man. I actually sat, the one playoff game I went to that year, I sat right behind him.
Oh, that's fantastic. Well, that's a great timing, too. You're inadvertently segueing us to a conversation we had with Brad Hawpe in the dugout about that 2007 team, what was so special about them, and what was that X factor? How did they have that chemistry? Because to hear him say it, it really was this chemistry, and it doesn't just happen overnight. He's got the secret, and here it is.
It is special, but that's not the way I want it. I want to watch them go every year. I watch the Rockies all the time. I'll read articles from you guys all the time. Just a fan of the organization. Doogie's a lifelong friend. I mean, you just go down the list. Bud Black, I played for him in San Diego and was very honored to play for him. Love the minor league system and a bunch of people helping there. So I really look forward to them getting back there and pulling for them. Don't want to be the only team in recent memory for that. I want there to be a bunch more. I want to see Charlie up there. I want to see all these guys playing on the big stage.
You've been a part of a lot of successful teams at LSU even. When you look back at what you guys were able to accomplish late in the season and through the first few rounds of the playoffs, is that just the best team you've ever been a part of during that stretch of time?
Just winning baseball. I didn't realize that whenever I was at LSU, when we won the College World Series, I looked at the ring and I think we went like 14-0 or something like that. I'm like, that's winning baseball. That's how you get one of these rings, you know. So I look at stuff like that. LSU high school state championship, same thing. And I look back at all the winning teams, and it was just like, you just get rolling, you roll. And that's what we did here in 07. That's what we did on all the teams.
Was there anything you put your finger on from 07 of why you were able to win?
As Ben said before, and there's moments, but really it just boils down to basically just a mindset, just an organic mindset that is like, you know, after a game we would win here, and you know, we'd go up to the clubhouse and favorite songs would be playing, and the class clowns, you probably know who one of them are. He works in the booth. Spilly and Smith, and all these guys doing all their dances and us having fun. I mean, it was just an organic mindset that we wanted to go back up and celebrate after the game too, high five, and have fun. So it was just a mindset.
Yeah, he wants the Rockies.
He's safe, man.
Yeah, he wants the Rockies back in the World Series. It's like, yeah, I'm part of the only World Series team in franchise history, but you know what? I want them to do more things. He even said, hey, what are you up to? And some of these guys, Hawpe would be nice. He'd be a good fit as an assistant, special assistant to the general manager back with the Rockies. But one of the guys that from that era was Aaron Cook. He said, "Oh yeah, Aaron Cook came over. I think he has an internet company. He fixed my internet." So it was funny catching up with those guys. And Ubaldo, I mean, immediately, I had a million questions. We've got some of it. You'll have to go over to the DNVR Sports channel on YouTube to watch the full conversation that we had with Ubaldo. But here's just a little snippet talking about his no-hitter, the guy who made the catch, Dexter Fowler, what that was like. That's what he's going to start talking about. And then some of the pitching adjustments that he made and how key that was.
Yeah, he saved my no-hitter. I mean, I didn't think he had a chance because Troy, he just killed that ball. I was like, oh, that ball is probably gonna be out of here. And then I saw Dexter running, and I was like, what? He's gonna have a chance? He was one of the best players that I saw in my career, especially at that moment when you throw in a no-hitter.
Dexter obviously helped you on the field, but also in the dugout there was that change that pitching coach Bob Apodaca made. Can you talk about what he suggested to you and how it ended up working out?
Well, in the first 5 innings, when I was from the wind-up, I couldn't throw a strike. For some reason, I wasn't able to throw the ball right in the middle, down the middle of the plate. I ended up walking the first guy, the leadoff guy, in every single inning. But once I got from the stretch, I was able to throw a strike and got a double play or got the outs anyway. And then Bob came to me in the 5th inning. He was like, "It's just like you throwing every time you're from the stretch. You have no problem." And I was, yes, I feel good from the stretch, from the windup. I don't know what am I doing, but it doesn't seem like I'm able to throw a strike. So he was like, "Why don't you try to begin from the stretch? If that's what's working, why don't you try?" I was like, "Really? I never done that before. I always been a starter, but I did it, and then it was one of the greatest advice that I got, and it worked out."
That was awesome. He's in great shape, Ubaldo. He's been playing tennis. He finished college. He promised his mom he would do it when he signed at the Dominican Republic at 16 years old. Mom, the Rockies were the only team that said, "Okay, we will make sure that he finishes. We'll go ahead and take care of that." So that was wonderful to see him back. And again, just talking the no-hitter. We could have talked about that just for hours upon hours. Again, you can see more of the full interview over on the DNVR Sports channel on YouTube. And you could see some great rugby right here in Denver at Infinity Park in Glendale. It's American Raptors. Head over to AmericanRaptors.com. Tickets are just $10 to go see one of the best rugby teams in the country. If you got kids under 12, they actually get in for free. It's a great time in the summer to learn a little bit about the game of rugby. It's a wonderful sport. In fact, a lot of the players are learning the sport themselves. They're former baseball players, basketball, football, track and field, you name it. They're learning the sport. You can learn with them with Colton Strickler's Rugby 101 shows on the DNVR Rugby Podcast. It's American Raptors. It's top flight rugby right here in Denver. It's the spot to be. Rugby Town, USA in Glendale. In fact, in Illegal Pete's all around Colorado, all around Denver is the spot for buddies, burritos, beers, That's it. Those three things with three Bs for an essential summertime good time. They've got their spring kickoff. They got patio. They got a whole patio situation set up all over the place. You get a house beer bucket where you and your whole crew get 5 refreshing 16-ounce beers for only $15. That's it. Doesn't get much better than that. They've got the banging queso. They got great guacamole. It's Illegal Pete's. If you've been there, you already know it. I don't need to convince you. But if you haven't, crawl out from underneath that rock and get your ass down to an Illegal Pete's. Burritos, beers, and buddies. Speaking of buddies, I mean, there's no better buddy than my buddy, Derek Montilla of PHNX Dbacks. What's up there, Cap Caveman?
I don't get a better introduction than that. Let's go. I'm doing great. How are you doing, man?
I'm doing well. I gotta put you over, and we'll talk about exactly what that phrase means for anyone that doesn't know. But right now, we're in the middle of it. Sure. It's the skirmish in the Southwest. How do we like that as a name? Anytime the Dbacks and Rockies do battle, it's the skirmish in the Southwest, right?
I love that. That sells as a pay-per-view. I'm buying that pay-per-view for sure.
With the way the whole Bally Sports thing is going and AT&T Sportsnet, it may be a PPV situation when these two teams lock up later on in the season. I don't know.
We're definitely watching that game for free, I think that's what's happening.
Yeah, it's going to have to be for sure. Look, Diamondbacks right now, they are 8 games over 500, right? They second in the NL West. I think third best record in the National League, so they got the top wild card spot. They had the potential going into this season, but hey, potential is just a word. You actually have to go out and doing it. What's been the secret for them to actually do it?
I really don't know what the secret is because there isn't really one thing I could pinpoint. Early on in the season, it seemed like it was their speed. It seemed like it was their ability to do this thing we called creating chaos on the base path, right? They also have some incredible defense to go along with that. But as some of their younger guys kind of struggled, they sent a couple of the guys down. Jake McCarthy, Alec Thomas, both were big parts of their outfield. So those guys got sent down. Some of the pieces that replaced them have played very well. They called up Dominic Fletcher, who made his debut and played incredibly well for his first 2 weeks of the season. So I feel like it's just the fact that there's a lot of talent here, and the Diamondbacks are deep enough right now with that young talent to be able to dip into the minor leagues and have guys come up and be able to contribute, but it's kind of carried over to the trade that they made during the offseason with the Toronto Blue Jays ended up just being key for them because not only did it bring over Gabriel Moreno, which is their young catcher of the future and an absolute talent in Major League Baseball, but it brought over Lourdes Gurriel Jr., who is my hair twin and has been hitting inexplicably well ever since I dyed my hair the same color as his. So I feel like that trade has worked out really well, but you can't really quantify it when the Diamondbacks lost Carson Kelly due to him breaking his arm and having no real options at catcher there. That trade to send out one of the Diamondbacks' best players from last season at Varsh and get back Moreno ended up being the best move that they could have possibly made. It's almost like they knew that they were going to need the services of another catcher before it ended up happening. Had it happened afterwards, I'm sure the price would have been much higher for them.
Yeah, for anyone, again, if you're only listening to this as a podcast, you're missing out on the visuals of Derek, his hair twin, giving Gurriel the rub. And let's face it, you're giving him the rub. For sure. He's hitting, and you're right. That trade was genius. It was a win-win for both teams, but I felt like it was a little bit more of a win for the Diamondbacks because they had so much depth in the outfield. So, all right, go ahead and take Varsho, bring in 2 guys that can contribute, a player who's going into his free agent year, so he was going to break out in a big way. He absolutely have. And the depth is a huge piece. It's one thing to have young guys and you want them to play, but if they're not successful, that can be problematic because you're expecting to win, and I think the Diamondbacks really expected to win. So for Thomas to be one of those guys who, and McCarthy to not really be contributing, that can be problematic. But you know what? With, as you said, Dominic Fletcher stepping up in a big way, having the depth, having all those guys, that bullpen, on paper, I thought they looked really solid, just like the Rockies relief corps, and I think they've been all right in general. Corbin Carroll, as you said, chaos on the base path. I mean, he's still been doing a lot of those National League Rookie of the Year award favorite type things. He's still exciting. The numbers might not be jumping off the page exactly, but he's still kind of the front runner for Rookie of the Year right now in the National League, don't you think?
He's doing it consistently. There's some other names you talked about, how James Outman and some other names kind of pop up, and they have a good month or a good stretch. Corbin Carroll did get injured and had to kind of take some time off and kind of reset. It wasn't a major injury, but you know how baseball is. Like, you can't just take time off and then pop back in and be in the same groove that you were in. And that goes for even kind of letting him run. You could tell they were being very cautious with him. And for obvious reasons, they extended Corbin Carroll. He is the future of this team, and he's already proven to be worth the extension. It seems like the Diamondbacks already got a steal, and we're just talking about, the first year of him being here during this extension. So I feel like, the thing about Carroll is it doesn't seem like he's going to do that up and down thing between, the majors and the minors like most rookies do. It happens to all of them. The key is to not, compromise your team being able to win, just so that you can get a young player consistent at bats, right? If they start struggling, you end up benching them, and then they're not playing. So I know it's seen in the eyes of a lot of people as a demotion, but the Diamondbacks need to keep all of these young guys ready and prepared for their opportunity, because it might come next week to be back up here in the majors and be starting again. And that's kind of how things have been going right now for this team.
Yeah, Torey Lovullo doing a great job there as the D-backs manager. Probably a front-runner candidate. We've got a long way to go. This is a marathon. We're like at mile 6 right now, it feels like. But Torey Lovullo doing a great job managing that staff. I don't know if you saw on Sunday with the win, Rockies manager Bud Black moved into second place all-time on the Rockies managerial wins with 441. Lovullo and Bud Black both became manager of their respected Southwest clubs in 2017. And going into Monday, they both had exactly 441 manager wins with their team. That's weird. Coincidental.
That is weird.
I like that.
Baseball's so weird like that.
It is. And now Lovell's got one more. So we'll see what happens kind of in the rest of this series. We've got a good one tonight. I mean, Kyle Freeland, Zac Gallen. I'm really looking forward to everything that you guys have talked about with Zac Gallen, both on the podcast and behind the scenes a little bit with me. He's an interesting dude, and I'm looking forward to talking with him next time D-backs come through town. But I tend to think that maybe the Rockies have to be towards the top of the list. Dodgers are almost always going to be number one in the NL West, but of teams that he would love to really get at, because the Rockies ended his scoreless streak last year. And I just sort of feel anytime he's against the Rockies, he's rolling his eyes and he's like, these guys again? And is causing some issues for him, some shape or some form, right?
Yeah, well, Zac Gallen does not have a short memory. In fact, I think he writes a lot of things down just so that he doesn't forget them. So I wouldn't be surprised if he's made a note of that and has used it a little bit as bulletin board material for himself. The only thing with Zac is we've just seen him be absolutely brilliant this year. He had a plus 28 game or a plus 28 inning scoreless streak going this year. But we've also seen him kind of struggle as of late. It doesn't seem like he has great command of a couple of his pitches. So he kind of just abandons them during the course of a game. You see his pitch selection when he's kind of struggling get pretty limited down to like his fastball and his curveball, a lot, a steady diet of those. So really, it's a tale of consistency with Gallen. We know how good he can be, but we've also kind of seen him in the last few starts not be his best self. Sometimes when he's not his best self, he still goes out there and gives you 7 innings of 3-hit baseball with no runs, and then we'll tell you afterwards about how he didn't have his best stuff, which is just mind-boggling, because this is a hard game, and to go out there and have that kind of performance and still be able to say you didn't have your best stuff is pretty incredible.
Yeah, that's one of the 2 games to watch tonight for anyone that knows a baseball fan that's trying to get back into it now, especially if you're in the Phoenix area, since the Suns have been knocked out. Sure. We're a little bit preoccupied with the NBA Finals, Derek. Sorry, didn't mean to rub that in for anyone. Too soon. It is. Yeah. But there's only 2 games right now in MLB where both starting pitchers have an ERA under 4, and one of them has an ERA under 3. It's Freeland, Gallen, Twins, Astros. Hey, cool, great. But 7:40 tonight, that's definitely the matchup to watch. Dinelson Lamet, Tommy Henry, probable starter on Wednesday night. And then on Thursday, Chase Anderson versus Zach Davies. Do you think this series is going to be a split? Are you leaning more towards the D-backs winning 3 of 4? What's your take?
It's interesting. The starting pitching situation is just kind of chaotic right now for the Diamondbacks. And again, we still don't know what we're going to get out of Zach Davies because he just has returned and he didn't have a great outing in his first start back. We have Tommy Henry, who pitched out of the bullpen yesterday. So I believe that's Saturday. So I mean, there's a lot of weird stuff going on, and I don't know how things are going to shake up for the Diamondbacks. Who's going to end up in the starting rotation? They have some young guys that are all viable candidates, but again, it comes down to consistency. It's Tommy Henry, Ryan Nelson, and Brandon Pfaadt, who was sent down. They recently called up Trey Jameson, who was excellent in yesterday's game, and Jameson has been kind of the talk of this team at times, because out of the bullpen, he is just lighting it up. He doesn't seem to be as effective as a starter, but it's not like they've given him very many opportunities to start this season. So it remains to be seen how he's gonna where he's gonna end up. But I don't know. I think the Zach Davies start is a little concerning for me, but I think Tommy Henry was pretty damn good the last time he came out. So I would expect to see Tommy Henry still kind of be in that competitive mode of trying to keep his job in the starting rotation.
Yeah, we're not sure what to get out of Lamet, who has not made a start since September of 2021. So that will be an interesting one on Wednesday. In the chat, we've got your partner, the comptroller of PHNX, Jesse Friedman, I guess.
Yes.
He's jumped in. The homie Michael saying he likes Salt River Series. Also good for Dbacks Rockies, right?
Oh, I like that. I like that a lot. Yep.
Ooh, we got from
Salt River Showdown or something like that.
Okay, that works. Apostrophes, adverbs in our chat on the DNVR Sports Channel on YouTube. The Melee in the Mountains, not bad also. These are good.
Not mad. I like that. Yeah, I like that. These are good. I would go with all of these.
That's it. Yeah, Michael, he's going to the game tonight, so he's absolutely stoked. Derek, I'm absolutely stoked because I don't know that you guys have this as one of your sponsors down there in PHNX, and I shouldn't entirely gloat, but I got to put on my Shady Rays because how do you like these bad boys? I mean, come on. Huh?
Man, come on. Those are incredible. And they fit your personality in a way that it's indescribable. It's pretty much a visual representation of your personality.
That's it. I'm ready to play center field anywhere. You name it, indie ball, whatever. I'll show up at a Little League field and say, yeah, I'm 12. Here's my birth certificate.
Yes.
That's it. No, Shady Rays, it's great. You use code DNVR. You buy one, get one free. If you're in the Denver area, you can actually go to the Park Meadows Mall. Try them on. Buy 2 or more pairs of the polarized shades. You get them for 50% off. Cool thing is, too, if you sign up, and if you are coming over from the PHNX side, that's okay. You can tap in on this deal, too. Again, use code DNVR. Order it up, and if you don't like it, within 30 days, just return them, and you'll get a full refund. Best thing about the Shady Rays, too, a wonderful independent sunglass company that we've been partnering with for a little while now, they've got a lost and broken replacement policy. So if you're one of those people that happen to lose their sunglasses a whole bunch, they're going to go ahead and replace it for you. Or if you happen to sit on them and break them, they're going to replace it for you as well. Hit them up. It's the shades that over 200,000 people have rated 5 stars. It's legit. Just look. Just look at this. Yes. And then when I take them off, now look at it. Not as good. Not as good. Shady Rays. That's what it does. Before and after. That's it. Again, in the chat, I'm getting Bret Hart. Yes, Bret Hart vibes as well. I'll take that. I felt like more Macho Man, but it could be more of a Bret Hart vibe.
Yeah, I mean, as a kid, I wanted one of those sunglasses, those pairs of sunglasses you gave away so bad. Oh, that was the dream right there.
We got to see if they have a partnership. We'll see. Maybe Pro Wrestling Tees and Shady Rays. Those are some superpowers.
Yeah.
All right, let's.
We just need some pink lenses maybe on those.
Need them. That's it. And I'm not going to be giving away to kids. That's the only thing. I'm going to keep them on my head. NL West, Dodgers have their issues, but I mean, they're probably going to be fine, right? We Rockies haven't played them opening week. That's it. They're probably going to be fine, right? Unfortunately.
I mean, they're the Dodgers, so they're always going to be fine. But I think, to be honest, their pitching situation is concerning. It's concerning for them, and I think that it's not just that, because Dodgers have always had solid starting pitching, and that's the one thing is that you can kind of change out position players. The Dodgers are going to do what the Dodgers do, which is find a way either through their minor league system or through picking up someone magically from another team and having them come on and become suddenly one of the best third basemen in the league because, that's what they do. It just feels like that they can't do this forever, and they can't continue to find guys that are of the caliber that some of the players they lost. I mean, Dustin May was simply outstanding lately, and so that was a huge loss for them. But you're right; they'll probably in the end be back. They'll win enough games to probably stay at the top of the NL West, and then when those guys come back, we'll see the Dodgers at full force again, and they'll be a force to be reckoned with up until the midpoint of the playoffs.
Yeah,
they'll probably lose
or early in the playoffs. The Padres were supposed to be the team. I thought it was slightly hot of a take to say that the Padres are going to win the West, but I saw a lot of people doing it, saying, yeah, this is probably going to be the year. Look at all their pieces. I'm done believing that the Padres are legit. I'm all out. They just picked up Gary Sanchez off waivers. They need a little pop behind the plate because their offense has been struggling. I'm out on the Padres. I'm done. They could get really hot in the summer. I'm still not going to really pay attention to them and give them that credit until they do it at the end of the season, after 162 have been played. Then I'll look at the standings and give them credit, give them their flowers if they're at the top. But until then, I'm out on the Padres. They're done. They've gotten enough graciousness out of me. I'm out on them. They're not.
Well, I mean, I feel like it's a time-tested thing where you can't pay for your team. As much as franchises have tried to do that, it's like one of the only sports. And I mean, it's not the only sport. Obviously, this happens in basketball. This happens in football. It happens in every sport. But in some other sports, it's a bit easier to go after basically the expensive players. Add on, once you have a solid core, add on free agents, trade for guys when teams are trying to get rid of big contracts and stuff, and essentially make your team into a powerhouse that way. Baseball just has that chemistry thing. It has that touch of magic where a guy that hit 215 all season long ends up becoming a World Series hero. And you just can't, you don't know where that's going to come from. As much as you would like to use statistics and numbers and all of this other information in order to try to decide who's going to be, the best baseball player in the game, it just baseball's just not like that, and that's what makes it so much fun to watch, especially when we get close to September and we get in October, and people start catching fire inexplicably, and now their team is the best team in baseball. I mean, what the Phillies did last offseason or last playoff run was exactly what I'm talking about, when they just wasn't really expected out of a team like that. They're a bad example, though, because they're also another team that paid a lot for their team. And they're also a team that's struggling this year, despite the fact that their roster looks the way it does. I think the biggest problem with the Padres, obviously, is that they didn't focus enough on pitching. And it feels like pitching really is the thing that's going to set you apart from other teams. Could have all the big name superstars playing the field you like, but at the end of the day, you're still going to have a bunch of guys hitting somewhere between 250 and 300, and that's good. But if you don't have the starting pitching to complement it, you're not going to win baseball games.
Yeah, you can't have Michael Wacha as your ace, basically, and that's what the Padres have going on. Look, this is why they play the games, right? Like, you got it on paper, you look good, but this is why they actually play the games. You were playing a little bit this weekend, scouting for maybe an expansion site, maybe the new home of the Oakland Athletics. You were in Vegas this weekend, weren't you, buddy?
I was. That's the reason why my voice sounds like this, and I apologize for that. But yes, I was in Vegas. I was scouting the new location of the Oakland A's Arena, which was right across the street from my hotel. And I was seeing how much of a town, or how much of a baseball town Vegas has become. And the answer is not much. They're still concerned about the gambling over there, but it's good times. I had a great time.
And they're concerned about pro wrestling. I mean, I know you also had a couple events. How was Double or Nothing Sunday night? Good show? Looked good.
I was very drunk during Double or Nothing. I rode in a limo there, and Patrick, they have free alcohol in limos, which I knew, but I still didn't prepare myself for. However, the show was great. I mean, the show was really good. People have said the crowd really wasn't that into it, and I'm not surprised because it was a bunch of hungover people that have been in Vegas, some of them since Wednesday. So I felt like there was definitely a lack of energy in the building, and I wasn't the only one taking little side power naps during the show. But they put on a great show. It's a great show. The Anarchy in the Arena match. Double or Nothing just knows how to put on a really fun show, make it a nice variety show. But it definitely didn't get I don't think it got the love from the crowd in the building it deserved.
Yeah, I want to talk about each NOS team and what wrestler they most closely resemble. But before we do that, I'm curious if you have on your bucket list, because you go off on a lot of these wrestling trips and you do some sporting events, a couple of wrestling and whatnot. Do you have anywhere on your bucket list, and how high is it if you do have it, wanting to go over to Japan to watch a little New Japan Pro Wrestling, and maybe even taking a baseball game too? Is that something that's on a list?
Number one. I want to go to Wrestle Kingdom, which for most people that don't know, that is the January 4th show, and it's basically their version of WrestleMania. It takes place over 2 days. There's a number of other events that occur during that week, and it's like a wrestling fan's dream. I've had friends that have gone to it, and they've just said it was the best experience I've ever had. It's weird because pro wrestling is kind of like baseball. They share a lot of similarities. They're appreciated in some of the same parts of the world in a similar fashion. And I do think that it's kind of something that you kind of like watching it with like-minded fans. There's something about the respect level that pro wrestling gets in Japan that it really doesn't get elsewhere in the world. The wildest thing is my friends tell me they feel like absolute maniacs there because they're standing up and cheering, and every wrestling fan in Japan is very polite. They do not bring signs. They do not throw streamers at the wrestlers, and they do not scream obscenities, oddly enough. It's kind of wild, but it's a different vibe over there.
They don't take limos to the show. They're not getting hammered. They're not hanging out with Rob Van Dam either, But you are.
Yeah, they're not doing it right, in my opinion. But that's just my opinion.
There you go. All right, Dodgers. Who do you got? What wrestler is most similar to the LA Dodgers?
I want to go. Like, I'm not going to go super deep cuts. As much as I want to say like the Dodgers are like Super Dragon, and the Padres are Biff Busick at PWG. I'm going to go with some big names here. The Dodgers are like Chris Jericho to me. You almost love to hate them, right? Like it's almost fun to hate them, and a lot of us like understand that they are kind of the bad guys in the National League West and have been for a long time. They both continue to transform themselves as the years go on to maintain a certain level of success, right? Chris Jericho is very, very good at adapting his character and coming up with new versions of himself. And the Dodgers have been very good for the last 10 years. And a big part of that has been the fact that they've been able to adapt and change and maintain a certain level of excellence that not many baseball teams are, even though they've only had one World Series in that time. Despite being very good, neither have that many championships. Maybe you could argue they don't have as many championships as they should. So despite having a high level of success, it's kind of for show at times. So there you go. There's my comparison for the Dodgers, Chris Jericho.
No, that's good. I like that. You root against him, but there's also an appreciation. Jericho Appreciation Society, Dodger Appreciation Society. I kind of have Roman Reigns. Like, they're pushed on you. You don't want them. You want to get rid of them, but they're always still right there, and you got to go, you know what? They're the head of the table. They're the head of the NL West. That's my comment on the LA Dodgers.
They definitely are the tribal chief of the NL West for sure.
All right, I got for the Padres, I got MJF because they talk the talk. They've got the swagger. They're kind of one of the best. I mean, MJF, he's the reigning champ right now. But you're like, you haven't done it that long. We're not getting those 5-star Matt classics, if you will. So you know what, Padres? A lot of talk, but let's show it a little bit more. Padres are MJF. What do you got? Do you like that comparison?
I do like that comparison a lot. The only problem is that MJF has now done it. He has the BBB, right? So he's got the big Burberry belt, and I mean that's the part that the Padres still don't have, is that elusive championship. Now, even though he's won a championship in another company, I will say right now, for me, Cody Rhodes is the Padres. The reason why I say that is because they're very hot, despite the fact that they lost, right? Like, and they're losing. Cody Rhodes, big name, set up at WrestleMania to win the championship, didn't win it. They are better and more popular now than they've ever been. and they still can't win that elusive championship, right? For Cody Rhodes, I'm talking about the WWF, WWE championship that's always kind of eluded him. You know, he was a young guy. He was kind of overwhelmed. He was not even a mid-carder at times. And now we are looking at Cody Rhodes as one of the best professional wrestlers in the world. However, he needs to win the championship, I think, for him to claim that title. And both have continued to evolve and get better, like Cody has. It feels like the last 5 years have been just them ramping themselves up to a certain level of greatness. So we'll see if either one of them can win the championship. But that's where I'm at with the Padres.
He continues to make more money as the Padres continue to spend money. And Cody Rhodes, as we know, son of a very famous wrestling father, Dusty Rhodes, Padres means fathers.
That's right.
Spanish. I like that. Let's go Giants. I've got two on this one, but I want to hear what you've got first. What wrestlers is the San Francisco Giants?
I have, of course, John Cena. And that's because you're almost annoyed. You're almost annoyed by the number of championships that they've had, right? Like it's like unbelievable that they continue to win, but ultimately you have to respect them for it because they've done it for so long, for so many years, and just they hustle, they have loyalty, and they respect their players. Both have very nice houses on the waterfront also that I can afford, so there's that as well.
Oh, that's great. I do like that one. And, they show up like every other year, right? All the even numbered years, and then they take it over. That does make sense. I was thinking, I think they might be kind of like Bray Wyatt, where they vacillate. Are they the Fiend? Are they Bray Wyatt? Are they good? Are they bad? I mean, what's their deal? You don't know who's going to show up on a night-to-night basis. And now they're playing really well now. A good injection of life. All right. Diamondbacks. This one is the one I feel like is my weakest one, and I don't even know why. Who you got?
I wish I want to be more complimentary here. I really do. Like I want to be like, oh yeah, like the Diamondbacks or this or that. They're like one of the hottest young. I really do. I feel like the Diamondbacks should be like a hot young name in like professional wrestling, right? Like a Seth Rollins or something like that, right? But I can't go there. I have to go with Kurt Angle. And the reason why I have to go with Kurt Angle is because both had their best years in the early 2000s. And it's just been kind of downhill ever since. Both have won a championship, but it was like a fleeting short period of time for a championship window. And then they haven't won nearly as many championships as they should. And then they both kind of became a joke at one point in their career. But now they're just lovable. So there you go.
Yours is better than mine, but we're kind of thinking along the same lines. I couldn't, everyone we've named up to this point has been a champion in a major federation to some point. This guy did not, and you're like, think about young and up and coming and like really good but never made it, and you don't know what's going to happen. Owen Hart. I feel like that could kind of be that comp where you look and you go, they should have somewhere along the way. I'm saying that as a compliment, but then of course he's the nugget. All those things. I sort of feel like that's the fit. For the Rockies, I'm stumped on that one, too.
Wait, real quick. On the Diamondbacks one, can they be Sami Zayn?
Okay, why?
Just because Sami Zayn is super lovable, underdog, and he always has a bump here and there that pushes him all the way up. But there's always something that stops him at the very top. Every time they get
love that.
So that's the one when I think about the Diamondbacks, I'm like, Sami Zayn might be the guy. And honestly, the Rockies might be Kevin Owens. But just without the success, just because they're right there with them. They'll have a bump, and then they'll just get stopped.
Yes. Book it. That's actually really good. I wasn't thinking about the tag team of Dbacks Rockies, but that's so good. Hey, you can't spell Zayn.
We are the same.
You can't spell Zayn without AZ. So that might be the one there. For the Rockies, I had the 1-2-3 kid where, just an upset here and there, and you're like, oh my God, coming out of nowhere, 1-2-3 kid beating Razor Ramon there on Raw, or maybe Dolph Ziggler, where you're like, shows out, can sell really well, sell tickets, won a championship, or at least won the NL West once. I don't know.
Always in the match, like he always puts on a good match, even if he might not win them. He's always like in it.
He's good for a laugh too. He's good for a laugh too.
He's absolutely good for a laugh. He's an excellent comedian. Now that might be giving you guys too much credit here, but I went with Sting. And I'm going to tell you why.
Okay.
Again, there's a thing here where it's hard to say like where I'm coming from with this, because Sting obviously has a very celebrated career, but I'm talking maybe more about the WWE Sting that was like later on, and I'm not like everybody wanted, like it was flashy and exciting, but there was little like actual depth to what was going on there, right? Both enjoy high altitudes. Neither has won the big championship. And you knew when going up against Sting that you were going to get a lot of offense in, but it was going to be meaningless.
Oh, man, the buckle buster. That's it.
Yeah.
Always getting buckle busted. These are good.
The Rockies might also be Chris Masterson. One great move, 2007, and that's about it.
Man,
The master lock, and that's about
it.
it.
Get a good 2007, and after that, not so much.
Exactly.
DNVR, where the R stands for roasting our teams. I also thought, are the Rockies Roddy Piper in the sense that, he has the great quote of all time. Just when you think they've got the answers, I change the questions. For the Rockies, just when they think they've got the answers, they really don't. Or they change the answers. Maybe. Rowdy Roddy Rockies. That's them.
Yeah. Man.
Let's just go X-Pac at this point, honestly. We're roasting them.
Let's go.
Why not? Sean Waltman, how you doing, man? Hit me up on Twitter, at @DNVR_Rockies. Or hit me up on my personal one, at Patrick D. Lyons. Yeah. Derek, let folks know. Thank you, man, for jumping in. This has been great. I should have had my shades on the entire time from Shady Rays. Go ahead and plug away where folks can check you and Jesse out. Where are you at on Twitter, all that good stuff, including the commissionership. Let people know about that as well.
Oh, yes. Besides just being a baseball commentator, I also am a commissioner for a pro wrestling league here in Arizona. So if you're interested in that, check out IZW. You can get me on Twitter at @cap_caveman with a K. Our show's at PHNX_Dbacks. And of course, if you're interested in all things Phoenix sports, all roads lead to at PHNX_sports on all of the social medias.
Mo in our chat on the DNVR Sports channel on YouTube, which you can still go in after the show and leave comments. Mo said the Dodgers are Vince because they just own everybody in that division.
Yes.
That's too sweet, Mo. Mo, that's pretty sweet right there.
No, get him out of here. No,
Mark said John Cena, so I mean, for the Dodgers, I mean, you could go just about anywhere. I have to put up a poll and figure it out exactly who the Dodgers are and why. State your case.
Sure.
That's great, man. Thanks for helping us out, giving us all of this momentum. But Derek, you may or may not know what they actually say about momentum in baseball podcasts. Do you? Do you know?
I don't.
Look, they say your momentum is only as good as your next show. So we will talk to you tomorrow at 1 p.m. right here live on YouTube, the DNVR Sports channel. See ya.